We're at the Bond estate with a lovely morning with the two ladies. Look at this. Wholesome harem, as usual.
Take a look at our beautiful gallery of
the
love.
Family photos. You know, David, I want to ask you a question. You have these wholesome ladies that just take care of you, love you, and just, you know, people get jealous over that stuff, you know what I mean? But I wanted to ask you, what are things, or I guess red flags for ladies to avoid dangerous and harmful ladies to the soul?
Okay, so the first red flag is where you met them. So anytime you meet a girl on Tinder, there's a big problem with her. She has Tinder. So if a girl has Tinder, if a girl has Bumble, if a girl has whatever dating app, usually they are flooded with heroin-like levels of attention that are unnatural.
Okay.
So Jess, when she's walking around the jungle of the Spaghetti, when she's walking around, she might get attention from the old creepy man, maybe the mailman drives by, the bus driver, you know, maybe a couple times a day. But if she installs a dating app, she's gonna be getting global attention, she's gonna be getting all this attention that it's gonna be unnatural amounts. Okay, so if you're meeting girls in places like clubs or like bars or like dating apps, those are only women who go to those places. You're not meeting the women who don't go to those places, right? Mm-hmm. So the top of the funnel is probably the most important.
Okay, so avoid dating apps and clubs and...
Well, if any girl that's frequenting those places often, because if it's a good girl, she gets picked up really quick and pulled out of those places.
Oh, okay, that's true.
So if they're really familiar with all this stuff, it's a big red flag. You want a girl that's like kind of clueless to like where, what? Another red flag is look at her following list and there's just tons of guys and they all look similar. It's a big red flag. Girls that typically follow lots of guys, like if I look at a girl's following list and it's a bunch of white dudes that look kind of like me, what that usually means is the girl doesn't see you as a person, she sees you as like an interchangeable puzzle piece. Mm-hmm. And like, oh, as long as he looks kind of like this, she's just like switching the guy out with the same type of guy. Mm-hmm. And these girls, you'll find there's nothing you can do to keep them. They'll always just get bored and
rinse and repeat.
The third biggest red flag, I think, is when girls are easily bored and when girls need to constantly be doing stuff.
Oh, I used to date a girl like that.
Now that sounds like, oh, she's adventurous, but if a girl's okay with silence, if they're okay with stillness, if they're okay with just hanging out, that's a sign of stability. Mm-hmm. It's a sign that they can be content. When they're constantly needing to do stuff, changing their hair, changing their clothes, getting a new tattoo, changing where they eat. If it's always this need to change, guess what? That's gonna apply to you too, right? Guess what? You think that's not gonna apply to her relationship? She's gonna be like, I need a new boyfriend. In fact, even listen to the music, like who is that, Ariana Grande?
Yeah, Ariana.
Yeah, even listen to the lyrics. It's like, oh, they're praising, like, in Ariana Grande, there's a song where she's just talking about how she's just switching guys like every week. Yeah. And the chorus is like, thank you, next, thank you. And literally it's a song about how she's like, I'm sucking cocks, and they're teaching me things, and then I'm just saying next, next, next. And it's like this horrible celebration of being a mentally ill stimulus addict.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, so avoid blue-haired girls.
Constant change in hair color, if they're always going out, if they're following a bunch of dudes, those are massive red flags. Another big red flag is if her social media is only her. Girls like that are typically in a constant state of advertising themselves and everything is about them, right? So when you meet an emotionally healthy, normal, balanced girl, she'll post things like, you know, her and her mom, the beach, a photo of her breakfast. She might post a dog. But if it's a mentally ill, stimulus addicted, it's all her all the time. Always sexy, always in a bikini, always in a hotel room, always at a penthouse. It's just like me, 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 me. I know this girl in Manila who has 2 children. She's a single mom of 2 kids. You look at her Instagram, not a single piece of evidence that she's a mom. It's all just the me show. And you look at her Instagram, she's going out every night. It's like, it doesn't make sense. In her ecosystem of value, her children are worthless. It's all about, I'm sexy. That's her entire universe is premised around, I am a floating, please me all day long. Children, trash. Family, trash. Anything else is garbage. So, yeah, I mean, look, there's male versions of this, by the way, you know. And so the thing is, if you meet a girl like this, you're thinking, wow, she's so pretty. Look at her Instagram.
So hot.
But you don't realize, like, you don't see the forest for the trees. You don't realize, oh wow, look at her. She's following 700 white guys. She's a mom, but has no proof of children. Her entire Instagram is a celebration of her going out to random hotel rooms.
Yeah, and her booty.
Yeah, like this doesn't make any sense, right? If you're interested in just having fun with someone for like 3 days, girls like this are great. Of course, you know, you might as well, right? But if you're interested in a future, if you're interested in laying in bed with a girl who you can look at and she looks at you back and you know that there's a connection there, someone that you're proud of, someone that you can meet, you know, meet their family and stuff, then you gotta avoid these girls.
Okay. And last
Okay, last red flag.
red flag. Yeah. Give me one good ultimatum. Just title it Jess.
Oh my god.
Fifth, just Jess. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
If a girl on a first date doesn't seem a little scared and nervous about you or about where it's going,
Yeah,
because
that's true.
when a girl knows that she can fall in love, when a girl knows that she might invest, there's questions. Think of it like this: if you buy a car, you don't just buy it, you go how many miles? You kick the tires, you open the hood. Why? Because you know you're about to invest a lot of money, you want to make sure this car is worth it, right? When an emotionally healthy, non-damaged girl is on a date with a man, she knows there's a chance that she could get pregnant. She knows there's a chance she could fall in love. These are incredibly high risk scenarios, right?
Yeah.
So you'll have questions.
Sorry.
When girls are like, so how long are you staying here? Oh, why did you and your ex break up? What happened? Like, when you can tell they're a little bit skeptical and they're a little bit nervous, and like, especially if you take them home, if they're like, if there's like this uneasy, like, I don't know, I'm just kind of scared. It's like if you're about to buy a car, you're like, oh my God, I need to check the hood, I need to check the tires, is this the right decision? When they're asking lots of questions and they're a little bit nervous, they're a little bit scared, they're a little bit kind of uneasy about things, even though you might think, oh, that's weird, no, that's actually a massive green flag, okay? The opposite is a massive red flag. If girls just come over with no questions, they just start to date you and sleep with you, they haven't asked you any questions. They haven't asked you about your mom or your history or like how long you stay in the country or what is your job. The lack of questions is a massive, massive red flag. It's like, hey, come over. Okay. What? What do you mean okay? You don't know who the I am. You know, if a girl's willing to go straight to your place, that is almost automatic disqualification in my mind. You know, there's a lot of dating guys that are like, just invite them over to the apartment. I'm like, dude, if you do that, the only type of woman who's gonna come is probably the one that you don't want. It's all the ones that say no are the ones that you want, right?
That is true.
So yeah, when there's a lack of questions, a lack of skepticism, a lack of nervousness, it usually means they're destroyed. They're gone. Because there's a lot of women that are shells of their previous self. They're dead. They are living, breathing zombies, and the inner child inside of them is all destroyed. They were destroyed by trauma and abuse and bad men who did bad things to them, and all the soul was hollowed out and it's gone now. And so they're just like in the club, you know, they're just in the club, posting their and it's just like they're literally just a shell that moves. So it's like, you know what I mean? So you gotta figure out, like, is there a soul in there or not? And usually it's when you get questions, you get skepticism, when they're nervous. You know what the biggest green flag is when girls are almost about to cry before they make any kind of big move with you.
Oh.
When they're like really like long paragraphs, like, listen, David, I'm really nervous, I'm scared, you know, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That means their pair bonding is so good that it's almost like they're like, oh my God, I'm so scared, I don't want to get hurt again. If they're having these thoughts, that means that they know their pair bonding is strong. But if their pair bonding is weak, they'll never send texts like that. They'll just be like, LOL, nice to meet you. Or like, cool, like they'll talk like a dude, you know?
Thank you for the 5 red flags. 5 red flags with David Bond.
Basically, if they're like me, but they're girls, right?
Get him out. Get him out. And like me, I have blonde hair. I changed my hair color. So. Red flag. Shit.
But some people are like, but David, aren't you like that? I'm like, yes.
Yes. Oh, you want to avoid your own.
That's how I know these things. I'm basically saying, are you like me? You better not be.
Don't be like David, walking red flag.
He's always
Shell.
saying that you're the red flag that he's the one.
Right.
It's my psychological tactic.
Yeah.
What I say is I go, listen, do you know what's bad?
What?
And I'll describe myself. And I'll say, avoid that kind of guy.
Oh.
And then they'll know, oh, David must not be that kind of guy. But they don't realize.
Hey. Oh my god.
All right. So yeah, that's 5 red flags by David Vaughn. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. More videos coming soon. Thanks for watching, like always.